Dear students, welcome to my English class. Hope you are all well and going well with your studies. Today I am going to discuss a poem, Mild the Mist Upon the Hill by Emily Jane Bronte. For class 9 students, from your textbook please, lesson number 6, page number 45. The poem Mild the Mist Upon the Hill by Emily Jane Bronte. Emily Jane Bronte was born in the year 1818 and died in the year 1848. During this short span of her life, she established herself as a notable writer, especially as a novelist. English poet and novelist Emily is best known for her novel The Wuthering Heights, published in the year 1847. It is unique in English literature. Here we are going to read a poem, Mild the Mist Upon the Hill, where the poet given description of a natural landscape of a mist-covered valley, mountain. The very mist-covered mountain chain reminded the poet of her childhood, that she has left behind the happy days of childhood. As she describes the landscapes, she shifts from the present moment to the past and then to the present again. The poem is divided into 4 stanzas, 4 lines each. There are total 16 lines. Emily Jane Bronte, as a poet, is not very famous. A few of her poems reach the very highest levels, though the majority lack distinction. They reveal the great courage and strength of her passionate nature, and at her best, she uses simple verse forms with great intensity and a certain grandeur. Here in this poem, Mild the Mist Upon the Hill, the poet did not use any technical name for her poem. The name is from the very first line of the poem, Mild the Mist Upon the Hill. This alliteration of the words brings to us a note of melody, a note of harmony in nature, where the poet has tried to establish her own thought. The very theme of the poem is to overcome the sadness of our life. We are very much in suffering. We are going through the hardship, but the very remembrance of the happy days of our youth, of our childhood, gives us a hope to overcome the difficulties and get success in future, to enjoy the happy days again. This is a poem where the poet wants to see the world where we are getting a break from being sorrowful. It is the longing and desire of our heart. It is the nostalgic thought in our mind that someday will come when we will overcome all the difficulties and again enjoy the blissful moment of life. Let us read the poem line by line and try to interpret the meaning. Mild the mist upon the hill. Mild means very simple, not thick, not dense, that is mild. The fog is not dense. Mist is fog. So in the morning scene, the poet sees that the mountain is covered with thin mist. The distant mountains is covered with thin mist, telling not of storms tomorrow. The idea is given here. The very mild mist is not giving any precautions, any predictions of storm or inclement weather. That is, the weather will be fine. That is the break. That we are always wilding in the difficulties, but the very weather is a relief from the sad condition of our life. Telling not of storms tomorrow, there is no prediction of inclement weather. No, the day has waved its fields, paints its store of silent sorrow. The day has been personified here like a human being. It cried all day, that is, it rained yesterday, and the day which is personified here has spent all the sadness stored in his heart by crying all day. So we are away from our despair, our sufferings. We want to forget that critical situation, and we are in a position where the world is taking a break from being sorrowful. At that very moment, the poet remembers, oh, I am gone back to the days of youth. I am a child once more, and beneath my father's sheltering roof, and near the old hall door. It is the reminiscence. It is the very nostalgia in our heart. It is the longing and desire to get back the happy days of our childhood, when we feel unsafe, when we bleed being dragged by the difficulties of life. When we move on the rough surface, on the critical surface of our life, we always desire to have solace of mind, to get comfort, and the happy days of past reminds us that you are happy here. The poet remembers the happy days of her childhood, and she has gone back to the happy days of youth, which is no more now. It is the nostalgic feeling, and she sees herself beneath her father's sheltering roof. The very word shelter refers to the safety and comfort of the protection of father, parental figure, guardian, and near the old hall door. Old is gold. So we are protected by our father in his safety home, but we are now unsafe. This unsafe condition reminds the poet about the happy and safe days of her childhood. So the poem is based on the theme of sadness, of innocence in childhood, and a hope to break away from hardship. At that very moment, the poet watches this cloudy evening fall after a day of rain. When the day of rain is over, the rain ceased, and the evening appears with cloud. Blue mist, sweet mist of summer fall, the horizon's mountain chain. The poet notices, the poet observes the mountain chain, the mountain ranges are covered with blue and sweet mist. Two adjectives are used here to describe the mists, blue and sweet. Mist of summer fall clouds, fall means clouds, that surrounding the mountain at the horizon. In the last paragraph, last stanza, the poet says, the dam stands in the long green grass, as thick as morning's tears, and dreamy scents of fragrance pass that breathe of other years. The poet here surpasses her personal grief, and here she is going towards a universal outcome. The dam, the very spot of the fog, mist on the long grass, the spot of dew, damp, a drop of dew on the grass. It is the individuality. As thick as morning's tears, as if the morning is crying. That is the sadful, sorrowful situation of our life. We are falling on our hurdles. We are shedding our tears. We fall upon the thorns of life, we bleed. But the very damp on the grass is the ray of hope for us. And at that time, dreamy scents of fragrance pass that breathe of other years. Fragrance, the sweet smell, it is the hope, ray of hope in our mind. It is that nostalgic feeling of the happy days of our childhood that reminds us that sorrow is not continuing. It is not continuous. After the sadful days, after the sorrowful days, after the days of hardship and difficulties and sufferings, a day will appear like your childhood, which is past now. A future is yet to come, which will remind you of the happiest days of your childhood. So, the breath of other years refers to the years of childhood, the happiest days. It also refers to the days yet to come, that is the child's future. One day we shall overcome. One day our desire, our longing for the happy life will be fulfilled. So, the happiest moment of our life gives us strength to live with enthusiasm and hope. So the story, the very theme of the poem runs from sadness to happiness, from despair to hope. The poet uses various imageries like alliteration, imagery, personification, metaphor, and simile to give the poem a special touch. And it is very interesting. This simple poem has given us the feeling of our heart that we all feel at the lonely moment when the nature appears before us with all its beauty. We sometimes remember the happiest moments of our life. It is the positive outlook of our life that we always cherish in our mind. Then one day the fog will be dispersed, and the sun will rise again. Thank you. Stay connected with me. Subscribe my channel.